Part 97. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 967. What a plunder. The rules are clear. Once a plunder target is selected, all objects on the target, whether rewards, materials, or points obtained in the mission, may be successfully plundered. Of course, if there is a penalty on the robbed player, once someone uses the opportunity card to rob him, the punishment will also be transferred to the plundering player. But this one is nothing compared to the incitement below. The system's temptation is not concealed at all, and it is bluntly stated that if the plunder is successful, the gap between teammates in the same group may be quickly narrowed, or even completely reversed, and the ranking of the entire game may also be significantly changed. What is an adventure? Unlimited opportunities. Taoran Hehi. Therefore, the purpose of various actions that incited the team to split in the previous levels is this level. Isn't it? Just imagine if the member with the least resources in the team goes to plunder the strongest player, let's just say points. If you're lucky, you might gain thousands of points from a single fight of 300 points. In a normal game, where does such a good thing come from? Teammates who have lost a large amount of points will not only be unable to upgrade their assistants, but will also be unable to redeem supplies at the soon-to-arrive material level. Seeing that the number of layers is getting less and less, it is not so easy to get points, and the road ahead will suddenly become more difficult. The most damaging thing is that the system also specifically marked it: the predator will be anonymous. This will allow predators to act unscrupulously because they have no worries and no fear of retaliation. And this anonymity will lead to suspicion and disagreement in the entire team if there are team tasks in the future, which is even worse. So there is only one best way: refuse to plunder. Although Taoran has a good impression of his teammates and has some confidence, who can 100% grasp the human heart? Fortunately, not long ago, she warned them to be careful of being alienated, and those people also swore that they would never betray the team. So, it won't be too much of a problem, right? Feeling uneasy, Taoran planned to send a message to remind the other 5 people before he finished reading all the contents. Then she discovered that her display screen pages could not be opened and all were locked. She was able to contact the assistant, but the other party refused the request to send the speaker. She yelled. This was something the system had expected. That's it, just leave it to fate. Read on. How to plunder. The method is noted in detail. After buying the opportunity card with 300 points, select the teammates you need to plunder. Then the teammates' human icon will be displayed on the page. Teammates have select points on their heads and limbs. Similar to a lottery, there are a total of 5 places on teammates to choose from to plunder. And at every point, there are materials that teammates have distributed by themselves. So what players can choose depends on their luck. Of course, if you are unlucky, you can still plunder a second time. However, the points you need to pay for the second looting opportunity card will directly jump to 900. Those are all the rules. In fact, as long as you can be sure that the plundered player has enough points, the points you have to pay to buy the opportunity card are nothing. Fortunately, you can only plunder twice at most, otherwise this game will be really damaged. On the next page of rules, Taoran saw his own image on the screen. And all her items, from various materials to points, and even the penalties she carries are all listed on the page list. What she has to do now is to selectively distribute all her supplies in the 5 areas of her icon. This kind of thing is nothing to think about. There are only 2 choices: either to take a desperate risk, concentrate all the supplies in one area, and try the opponent's luck. But for Taoran, her 5 teammates are all luckier than her, so she absolutely can't do this. She doesn't want to have nothing. So without saying a word, Taoran began to distribute all his points and supplies equally among the 5 areas. Even if someone comes to plunder, the loss will be only 1/5. Play it safe. After setting up, the icons of her 5 teammates appeared on the huge display screen, and the electronic voice began to ask her if she wanted to plunder. Taoran refused directly. The scene changes. She was out of space. Taoran quickly looked around him. She was indeed the first to come out. Then she will wait. Teammates who appear within the next minute are definitely not plundering, but if they haven't come out within 2 minutes, they may be the betrayers of the team. It was hard for Taoran not to think too much. She is the captain, and number 444 is famous outside the country. Except for Zhou Chang, the other 5 people have only met recently. In their eyes, she must be a hot commodity. They think she has a lot of good stuff hidden in her, right? Taoran felt that if someone in the team betrayed him, the unlucky guy who would be robbed would probably be her. In view of this, it was difficult for her not to worry. Fortunately, it turned out that she was overthinking. Although she was the first to come out, Xiao Wang and Zhou Chang also came out less than 5 seconds after her. Immediately afterwards, Sunyang Lele and the others also came out. Within a minute, 6 people joined together. Everyone said that they did not plunder or betray. Indeed, none of the 6 received system messages indicating that they had been robbed. Lele said with a smile, "I was actually quite itchy, so I almost spent 300 points to play. Taoran, if you dare to rob me, the end will be ugly." Lele, who said I wanted to rob you? I never had that idea. Taoran, finally I know how to repay kindness. Not because of that. Lele chuckled, the main reason is that you are so unlucky. Didn't you just upgrade your little assistant? You didn't get any points in the 2 draws. I guess you don't have any points in your hand. But on the contrary, you are carrying a lot of money. The punishment. It's too terrible. Even if I'm punished for you, I would never dare to choose you. For it. It seems very reasonable. But Taoran always feels uncomfortable. Lele also said that Zhou Chang was also punished, so he did not dare to choose. Among the remaining 3, everyone is quite poor in terms of materials. He's not even interested. Sunyang has slightly more points, and he also likes that crossbow. But he was too embarrassed to snatch the eldest sister, so forget it. Regardless of everyone's mentality, this level was passed easily. The sign for level 91 ahead has appeared. 6 people went. Another stone chamber. A stone table with 6 people sitting around it. After the system mission of this level was released, the 6 of them couldn't believe that it would be as simple as this. There was a pile of rewards on the screen of the stone table, and the 6 of them could allocate them among themselves. This was the content of this level. It's too simple, and everyone can't help but guess whether this is a trap. Taoran asked her assistant. Then got the answer. It turns out that the reason why the tasks on this level are so simple is because they did not betray each other on the level above. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 968. It turns out that this level turned out to be an elimination level. Here, the team will conduct internal reasoning and catch traitors, try to figure out the predators in the previous level, and finally select one person to be eliminated by voting. If the person chosen is the predator, they get a reward. If the wrong choice is made, in addition to the selected player being eliminated immediately, there will also be another eliminated player among the remaining 5 players. Upon hearing such rules, the 6 of them took a deep breath together. Oh my God! Thank God, these 6 honest people didn't do anything bad. It's scary to think about 2 out of 6 people being eliminated. After all, it didn't take long before the tower attack was over, and it wasn't easy to get to this point. Assistant, so the last level actually tests the balance between interpersonal relationships, team relationships, and personal greed. Giving up small personal gains for the collective benefit and sticking to one's heart is more worthy of praise, so everyone here can get it award. In short, it means that since Chaoran and his team have no predators, they don't have to select the eliminated ones, and they can get more rewards. However, there are only 5 rewards, and there are 6 of them, so it is definitely impossible to share the rewards equally. But the 6 people had reached a consensus during the previous draw, so it was easy for them to share the rewards. In 1 minute, they finished dividing it. Only Chaoran didn't get the reward. Who called her the captain? But everyone agreed to exchange her for something worth 500 points when she got to the material level. After this calculation, she still made a small profit. However, before she could leave this level, she received a ding. You have sacrificed yourself for everyone. The player has fulfilled his duty as the captain. The system will reward you with 1,000 points. Chaoran was inspired. Why did she feel like she was suddenly appreciated by the leader? Level 92 is here. In the main tomb chamber, the dolls were still spinning around. It cannot return to its body. It's not because its body was broken into many pieces, but mainly because the head consciousness of its body is still controlled by the demonic energy, so that the girl's soul cannot get out at all, so it is still retained in the doll's body. The task has arrived. Just as Chaoran and the others had guessed, the mission would come sooner or later. The dual tasks assigned by the mayor and the system, sealing. They said that although their team had sealed most of the black mist demonic energy in the underground palace, the purification of the mummy girl was not completed. They must convince the girl and the doll to enter the coffin to complete the last 3 days of purification. Therefore, their task was to make the girl's head and doll go into the coffin obediently, no matter what method they used, whether it was coaxing, persuading, or forcing. The breathing of the 6 people is the same. That head would take action at the slightest disagreement. As soon as the black energy came out, their necks were stuck. I don't know how big the hope will be if the 6 of them work together to suppress the doll and the head with force. Of course, this idea never appeared in Chaoran's mind. Wawa would definitely not be willing to seal it, so Chaoran could never fight with Wawa. She is the captain, unlike the others. The bet between her and the baby was still there. In the plot of the series, she has to satisfy the doll in order to get a 10% bonus to her luck value. Otherwise, she has to cut off 30%. This was something she couldn't afford. So here in Chaoran, this sealing task can only be outsmarted. The easiest way is to persuade. 6 people came to the main tomb chamber. Lele went to work on the doll first, trying to persuade it to purify it again. But as soon as he opened his mouth, the doll, which was happily sitting on his shoulder, kicked Lele so hard in the neck that it cracked. How long have I been imprisoned before? Do you still want me to be imprisoned? For the so-called rescue, I silently admitted it for 500 years. But what did I get? There is no whole body in death, and there is no way to be reborn. Purify. Do you want me to purify? That's pretty much nonsense. After so long, I just want to be free, and I will never agree to enter that coffin again. The doll screamed. Even the doll is so excited, one can only imagine what kind of head it is. The head was still hanging on the side. When he heard these words, he suddenly bared his teeth and black energy rushed out, approaching Lele. Lele quickly waved his hands to express his misunderstanding. He had a doll on one side and a head on the other, and several circles of black gas were wrapped around his neck. Several other people hurriedly stepped forward to chat, emphasizing that they were just suggesting balabala. But at this time, Chaoran was thinking about something else. Now, while the attention of the doll and the head was distracted, she came to the coffin without anyone noticing. Her hand touched the aura crystal outside the coffin again. Sure enough, there was no aura left at all. The spiritual energy circulates through those special patterns and will no longer leak out. She reached into the coffin. This time was different, her fingertips felt like an electric shock, and a trace of spiritual energy instantly passed through her body and entered her fingertips. Yes, she still couldn't let go of the aura crystal. With the wool in front of her, she would be foolish not to pluck it. Plus, she was very interested in the coffin. After all, she had gained some benefits during the past 3 days in the coffin. Although the mummy's body became more uncomfortable after returning, after all, these bodies were brought back by her and her friends, and the previous discomfort had long since disappeared due to habit. So, Chaoran had an idea. She stood aside, then carefully read the task requirements, and then communicated with the assistant. Please ask me clearly, what is the ultimate purpose of this layer? Is it sealing or purification? The assistant got stuck. Sister, is there any difference? Without sealing, how can it be purified? The seal is needed just for purification, right? Don't worry about so much. Just convey my true words to the system and ask them, is the ultimate goal of my mission to seal or purify? 10 seconds later, the assistant replied. Sister, it's purification. Chaoran nodded. This is the confirmation I'm waiting for. So, as long as the girl is purified successfully, they don't care about the means, right? Yes. Very good. Well, Chaoran already has a solution. As long as the system doesn't care, she feels she can succeed. Chaoran stood up, and just in time, the doll floated towards her. She reached out and caught the doll. The doll cried again, good friend, you don't want to seal me, do you? I misjudged that guy Lele. What about you? What do you think? You are in the same situation as me, and you won't be like them, is it the same? How can it be? Chaoran held the baby and went aside. Didn't you see that when they came up to talk to you, I stood alone? I didn't go there because I didn't recognize them. Those people are short-sighted, how can they understand our suffering? We endure the humiliation and bear the burden, we have sacrificed too much for the sake of the overall situation. Why should we retreat? Chaoran was filled with indignation and bit her lip, which made the doll hug her tightly. Don't worry. Just like before, I considered you wholeheartedly, I will definitely be on your side. I will never let you be imprisoned. Chaoran was full of calculations, but the light of sincerity and justice in her eyes was so bright. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 969. At this moment, Chaoran and the others had to find a way to get both the doll and the head into the coffin for purification. But the doll refused, and neither did the head. Chaoran has an idea, it's a good way to achieve multiple goals with one stone and bring many benefits. She decided to break the doll and the head one by one, coax, trick, and lure, and maybe it would be done. So she started with the doll first, and then gained a good impression. The doll is an NPC. She has never forgotten the huge benefits brought by gaining the queen's favor. Are you telling the truth? My friend, the doll fluttered its long eyelashes twice. Of course it's true. When have I ever let you down? Don't worry, I will definitely help you get through the difficulties even if it's just for the 30% luck value. Okay, then I will trust you once. You are the only one I can rely on. Then, there was a doll pendant around Chaoran's neck, and her system started to sound. Gain the trust and dependence of the doll, and increase the luck value by 5%. The assistant also told Chaoran, Sister, the doll's favorability value for you has exceeded 50%. How much was it originally? Can you tell me? Okay. When the doll called you friend, its favorability was 10%. When you brought it back, its favorability increased to 20%. When you took out the crystal directly, The doll felt that you were thinking about it, so the favorability was increased. It has soared by another 15%. The remaining 15% was born from your position just now. Sister, keep up the good work and work hard to gain the baby's favor. Taoran nodded. Sure enough, completing the task itself won't bring much goodwill. They work so hard to bring back the body, and their goodwill only increased by 10%. However, she just said a few words and her goodwill increased by 15%. As expected, the more you perform, the better. More possibilities. However, she didn't expect to fully improve the doll's favor, just let it listen to her. Taoran took the doll and walked a few steps further to the side. Your biggest wish now is to return to your own body, right? The doll thought for a while, and indeed, rather than being sealed, his top priority was not to return to his body. So it nodded. Taoran, then I will set a goal now to help you control your body. Are you willing to trust me wholeheartedly for once? How to control it? The doll's dark eyes stared at the floating head not far away. I can't go back as long as the evil spirit dissipates. So. Taoran lowered his voice, I'm going to trick the head into entering the coffin for purification. After the evil spirit is dissipated, the soul thoughts remaining in the head can merge with you, and you can take back your body. Into the coffin? That's still a seal. The doll suddenly felt that he had been cheated and jumped up. Taoran quickly grabbed its legs and hissed at it to shut up. Listen to me, it's a lie to purify the head. It's a lie that it's not you. No sealing. I can't believe you. I will accompany you in. You should believe this, right? Huh, baby thought he heard wrongly. I will accompany you into the coffin, and then I will find a way to force the demonic energy out of your head. Once the demonic energy dissipates, I will help you take over your body. Once you take control of your body, the demonic energy will not be powerful no matter how powerful it is. There is a way. By then, the only way left for the demonic energy to escape and have nowhere to rest is to be purified. That sounds like what you said, but don't worry, I won't harm myself, right? With me by my side, what are you afraid of? That's true. I'm so thankless, but it's all for you. Good friend. As I said at the beginning, I will help you. I'll see. Wawa finally agreed and would act according to Taoran's instructions. It's just. Doll, how do you convince my soul that is bound by the devil's energy? It won't listen to you, and it won't get into the coffin. Even if you trick it into it, it won't let me go. Follow it and fight for your body. Just leave this matter to me. Taoran motioned the doll to go aside first. The assistant told Taoran that the doll's favorability value had increased by another 10%, reaching 60%. Is this series of plot coming to an end? Assistant, yes. That's good. Half a minute later, Taoran walked over and was still staring at Lele's head. Hello, let's talk. Turning his head, 3 black threads were already heading straight towards Taoran. Taoran rolled over and escaped. The head immediately launched a second round of attacks. This time Taoran did not try his best to hide and allowed the black thread to wrap around his neck. The 2 rounds of attacks from the head had made Taoran realize that compared to the first time she saw the head, the demonic energy was much weaker in terms of strength and speed. The demonic energy everywhere in the underground palace has been blocked, and there is not much demonic energy this guy can mobilize. Very good. Taoran, I won't seal you, so don't be so aggressive. Head, what did you say secretly with that thing just now? Head gestured to the doll. I thought of a good way to help you directly. How to help? What is your biggest wish now? Taoran gave guidance to the head similar to that of the doll. I guess what you want most is to gain control of your body, right? All you can control now is one head. This is too tragic. If you want to be free, you must first have a complete body, right? His head froze. for it. It thinks what it wants most is freedom, but what this woman said seems to make sense. Without a body, it would be meaningless to have freedom, right? But my body has been broken into several pieces. I have a solution. Taoran motioned for the head to follow her. The head released the black air from Taoran's neck. Taoran came to the coffin, rolled up her sleeves, and motioned her head to look at the scratches on her arms. Then she crossed her legs and jumped into the coffin. The majestic spiritual energy surged in, and Taoran quickly channeled it. 3 seconds later, she pointed to her smooth arm. Is it Wuhan anymore? In order to prove it to his head, Taoran also made a bloody wound and then repaired it with spiritual energy. Seeing is believing. Do you believe me now? I have a special technique that can use the aura of this aura crystal to help you repair your body. You follow me into the coffin. After it is repaired, you will have a body that you can use. Is this temptation big enough? Don't worry, I'll be with you. You can just use me as a hostage. No matter what I do, I will never make fun of my own life just to harm you, right? Taoran's lobbying was successful. The head flew around the coffin. Does it have to be in the coffin? Taoran, if you want to use spiritual energy, this is the only way. Not only do you have to enter the coffin, but you also have to close the coffin lid. You won't seal me outside, will you? I'm in there too. I'm in your hands, how could my teammates seal me away? This is recognized by the head. At this moment, all the girls' teammates were nervous, and 2 of them even drew their swords, intending to fight it. These people have a good relationship and won't hurt the girl. So, it said, if you dare to harm me, I will kill you first. Don't worry, the coffin is your territory. I just want to help you and leave as soon as possible. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 970. Head thought about it for a while and felt that everything was reasonable and that he really didn't find any loopholes. Taoran sat comfortably in the coffin, feeling the full spiritual energy that can only be found in the world of immortality, and continued to absorb the spiritual energy while talking. As the assistant said, the spiritual energy in this purification crystal is highly concentrated, and with the blessing of the purification formation, it is like a vast sea of spiritual energy. Just these few minutes have passed, and the spiritual energy is still being maintained continuously, which is simply magical. At this time, Taoran's head was completely moved. Just as he was about to float into the coffin, he thought of the doll again. What about it? What's wrong with it? Taoran asked hypocritically. Do you want to take it into the coffin too? Head thought for 2 seconds, and then replied yes. Taoran and Wawa looked at each other and smiled in their hearts. If Taoran took the initiative to take the doll into the coffin, his head would definitely jump and he would definitely suspect fraud, so the plan might not go so smoothly. So Taoran deliberately didn't mention the doll. Because she knows that it is impossible for the head to trust the real subject of the body, the doll. How could it possibly leave the doll outside the coffin with a group of outsiders? And the doll seems to have a good relationship with 1 or 2 of the outsiders. What if they join forces? What if under the instigation of the doll, that group of people suddenly made a seal? Therefore, Head definitely wants to keep the doll under his nose. Guessed it? Sure enough, this time it was Head who took the initiative to bring the doll. A minute later, both the doll and the head were in the coffin. A group of Taoran's teammates were confused throughout the whole process. They knew that the captain had an idea and could only follow her instructions. Taoran told them that what she had to do would take about 15 or 20 minutes, but she actually made a gesture of pressing the screen, which meant that she would use the loudspeaker to communicate later. All teammates immediately responded. The doll and Head felt even more reassured when they heard it. As long as it's not the 3 days required for sealing, that's fine. Zhou Chang and others helped close the coffin lid. Then a group of people looked at me and I looked at you, not knowing what to do next. The system's task is to let them use any method to get the doll and head to go in and purify it. Now, is this considered a success? The 6 of them could only sit down where they were, waiting for the results from the system, waiting for the coffin to move, waiting for Chaoran's instructions. However, in less than 10 minutes, the coffin lid jumped several times. They could not sit down and gathered around the coffin with swords, waiting to attack at any time to help. In the coffin, there is plenty of spiritual energy. The crystal shines faintly, and the sight is acceptable. Although spiritual energy can regenerate severed limbs and rejuvenate carrion, this is a mummy in front of me, a corpse from 500 years ago. If there was really a way to use spiritual energy to restore him to integrity, it would certainly not be possible with Chaoran's current level of cultivation. However, that doesn't stop Chaoran from being superficial, she can still do it. For example, the muscles and bones cannot be connected, but the skin can be used to cover people's ears and eyes, and it is still possible to barely see. For example, it is impossible to restore a corpse to its former self, but it is still possible to make the epidermis look delicate, white, and elastic. Even, in order to completely convince the head, Chaoran even forced the aura to rejuvenate its face. Head sensed the difference in him and believed in Chaoran even more. And when he saw Chaoran joining his limbs, Head was even more excited. It took about 10 minutes to do this just now, so it will only take 15 minutes to connect the head. So this girl didn't lie to herself. So when Chaoran asked the head to quickly get into position, the head immediately lay down in the coffin, close to the body, waiting to be joined. It's ready. Once the body is connected, it will use the fastest impact to seize control of the body, and then rush out of the coffin as soon as possible to avoid accidents. A minute later, Chaoran told it, "Okay." The black energy in his head immediately gathered into one force and rushed out. It wants to control the body and limbs. The black energy was continuously transported to every joint and every part. The first time the delivery effect was average, the head exerted another force, the black mist rose, this time it was almost full force impact control. But, it's broken. It thought it could sit up, raise its hands, and lift its legs, but all its demonic energy was interrupted. It was startled, tried to fly up and took a look, and found that its body was torn into pieces, but its demonic energy had been cut off in each part of its body. This is, being fooled. It turned out that Chaoran, who had great control over the mummy's body that had just been deceived by the head, used spiritual energy as thin as a thread to connect every part of it. When she led a large-scale attack with demonic energy to seize control of her body, all those aura hooks snapped. So most of the demonic energy was cut off in every part of the body. Some of them were scattered directly in the coffin. The demonic energy that occupied his head was now only 1/5 to 1/4 of its previous strength at most. Chaoran felt that with the blessing of spiritual energy, she was fully capable of fighting. The head also tried to control the demonic energy in other parts of the body to see if it could be used by it. But it found that it still couldn't control it. The demonic energy in those parts of the body has not only lost contact, but it can also sense that they are dying. "What do you think I was doing in the past 10 minutes, Chaoran grinned and gritted his teeth. He made unknown gestures with his hands. Then green light flashed on his hands, and several parts of the mummy's body followed her hands. Vibrate. With such abundant spiritual energy, she naturally sent all the spiritual energy into the mummy's body before. She didn't expect these auras to defeat the demonic aura, she just hoped that the auras in her mummy's body could be used by her at critical moments. For example, when the demonic energy invaded just now, she guided the spiritual energy to give in slightly, which attracted a larger wave of demonic energy attack. For example, the spiritual energy can be mobilized by her to suddenly form a barrier to chase and intercept the evil energy. Chaoran's level is right there. She doesn't have the ability to use spiritual energy to eliminate these demonic energies. But she can't, this coffin space can. As long as the evil spirit escapes from the body, the purification circle in the coffin will automatically swallow and destroy the evil spirit. According to what Taoran learned from his assistant, if the seal is not opened, the purification system will be basically ineffective against the attached demonic energy. So she had to trick the evil spirit out of her head. So she devised such a lie. The demonic energy has been dispersed, she can control the aura to expel it, and the purification system can eliminate it, so why is there a need for a seal? At this moment, my head was completely shaken, and I truly realized that not only had I been deceived, but also plotted against by this vicious woman. My intestines were filled with regret. Head attacks with all his strength with demonic energy. But Taoran was no longer afraid of it. Then the coffin jingled and made a series of noises. In fact, every time the demonic energy attacks, it becomes a little weaker. But Taoran is just the opposite. With such abundant spiritual energy, she can not only try various things, but she is not even afraid of getting hurt. So Taoran didn't panic. She knew very well that it was only a matter of time before the purification was completed. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 971. After the demonic energy found that it had nowhere to go and the purification system began to take effect, it tried to rush out of the coffin several times. However, Taoran had already sent messages to several teammates. At this time, Zhou Chang and others were sitting in rows on the coffin, firmly suppressing the coffin lid that tried to jump up from time to time. The coffin has its own formation to confine evil spirits. As long as the coffin is held in place to prevent the evil spirits from escaping, it will soon be purified. They were just curious, could there be a respiratory system inside the coffin? How did the captain manage to breathe inside? The movement in the coffin is slowly calming down. Taoran activated the aura of the formation, making the purification fast and effective. The demonic energy that was still struggling gradually became weak. The demonic energy became weaker and weaker, and in the end he could only shrink into his head in order to preserve his strength. The main spirit body in the doll also began to seize control of the head under Taoran's instructions. With Taoran's help, the doll soul body finally took off the head. The trace of soul remaining in his head finally merged with the girl's soul. When he opened his eyes again, his eyes were clean and pure. Success. The girl's body was back, and the demonic energy in her body and soul was driven away. Taoran grinned. Regardless of whether the mission was completed or not, she was definitely in favor with the NPC. You know, not long ago, when she successfully tricked the head into the coffin, the assistant told her that the doll's favorability increased by another 10%, and it had reached 70% at that time. But just now, the assistant came to report and found that after she kept her promise and did not seal it, the doll's favorability increased by 5%. After she helped let the girl's soul take away her head, her favorability increased again by 10%. Taoran's series of actions to help evolve have made the doll's favorability rise repeatedly. By this time, the doll's favorability level has exceeded 90%. The black energy escaped and became the target of strangulation by the purification system. Taoran worked hard to promote spiritual energy cultivation, so that the concentration of spiritual energy in the entire formation reached the highest level. In this way, the demonic energy dies very quickly. At this rate, the entire purification can be completed in 3 days or at most half a day. Taoran no longer cared about the demonic energy. She huddled in the corner, seizing the time to absorb as much spiritual energy as she could get. The aura stored in the game will definitely not be usable when you return to reality, but the wood spirits that are grown using aura in the game are real. In addition, the purification system also takes effect on her. Even if she practices here for 1 more minute, Even if Elizabeth's control in the soul is reduced by 1/10,000th, she will still have to work hard. Therefore, coming to the coffin to practice would be a win-win for Chao Ran. It was with this in mind that when the task was to purify the doll and the head, she came up with the idea of combining multiple purposes into one. She deceived the head, stabilized the doll, entered the coffin openly, and left the system speechless. She is the ultimate beneficiary. Obtained spiritual energy, reduced the restrictions, completed the task, helped the doll, and also gained a good impression at the same time, doing more than one thing. The girl who had obtained her wish looked at Chao Ran and immediately understood her intention. The girl returned to the doll again and sat down next to Chao Ran. "I'm very grateful to you." "Really?" Because if you are helping evil spirits this time, it can actually help you absorb some of the black threads in your soul." This sentence made Chao Ran pull away from his cultivation state and opened his eyes wide. How could she forget this? When the demonic energy attached to the head before, she asked if it could control the black thread in her soul, but the head did not answer her directly. These evil spirits should be from the same sect, so why didn't she think of tricking the head into dealing with them first? The matter has come to this, and it is useless for Chao Ran to regret it. She could only look upright and firm. Being a human being requires a stand. Even if the devil can help me, I will definitely help the angels. I will never collude with the devil or be driven by the devil. This is a matter of principle. At this time, she could only grasp what was in front of her, and she had to work hard to gain her favor. Besides, you've always called me friend, haven't you? As friends, helping each other is the most basic thing, right? So no matter what the circumstances, I will stand by your side. Chao Ran blinked her eyes. Could he see the sincerity in her eyes? Help each other, the key is mutual. In the end, her sincere expression and words still touched the girl. Thank you, my friend. Chao Ran began to wait for the system sound when her favorability level reached full, but she waited for a full 5 seconds and it didn't appear. On the contrary, the girl said, "Although I don't have the ability to remove the black thread in your soul, I can give you a blessing." The girl has two identities, angel and devil. Now that the evil spirit is gone, she is an angel. The girl's soul came forward and kissed Chao Ran on the forehead. It was completely different from the previous kisses from the doll. The previous time, she only got the luck bonus in the game, but this time, she felt like her soul was shaken. The girl whispered, "Anyone who has been blessed by an angel will have good luck. Especially your soul is golden and strong. From the first time I saw you, I knew that you are a good person and a person of immeasurable merit. You deserve to be blessed. Good luck." The girl came closer and said, "The blessings of angels include but are not limited to games." Chao Ran couldn't see his soul, but the girl could. After the golden soul was blessed, it was blessed with an extra layer of golden light. With this layer of protection, the entangled black thread seems insignificant. Hopefully, if the black line rebels one day, this blessing can be of some help. Chao Ran sent a message to her teammates, saying that everything in the coffin was in stable condition, and asked everyone to have a good rest first, and when she comes out, this level will be over. Then while waiting for the purification to be completed, she let go of the practice. The evil spirit was completely eliminated after 3 hours. The girl knew what Chao Ran was thinking, so she allowed her to practice in the coffin for another 2 hours. Chao Ran expected that everyone was almost rested, so he asked his teammates to help open the coffin. This mission is completed. Chao Ran also received the system message. She was satisfied with the doll, so she received a 30% luck bonus throughout the game. Wawa said that they can leave the underground palace. The doll raised his hand, and a bright light appeared outside the main tomb, indicating that the way out was ahead. Chao Ran, what about you? What should you do? I don't have the ability to connect to your body. Can you just stay in the doll body? You are no longer the person you were before. You are an angel now. Can you tell the mayor and them? Prove it? Will they believe it? Will they seal you again? Doll, friend, do you care about me so much? Yes. Then if I want you to stay with me to complete the certification, complete the reconstruction of the mummy, and complete the final ceremony of my becoming an angel, will you be willing? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 972. I do. Taoran answered without hesitation. The doll came up and leaned on Taoran. That may take 2 or 3 days. It may be troublesome. It may be dangerous. It may fail, and you are more likely to be implicated by me. Are you really willing? I can. Of course Taoran is willing. The favorability of the baby has already passed 90%, but she has tried hard several times, but the assistant always says that she is still a little bit behind. Just a little bit. For this little bit of unwillingness, she wanted to give it a try. The other 5 people were surprised that Taoran answered without hesitation. 2 or 3 days. Spend another 2 or 3 days here. Risking being implicated? Crazy. Just for an NPC? Although they trust the captain, the tower attack mission is still a racing event. If they stay for 2 or 3 days, the advantage they gained by relying on the purification mission will probably be lost, right? The doll also began to ask the 5 people directly, what do you say? Are you willing to stay for me temporarily? I can stay. Zhou Chang looked at Taoran and felt that this guy had a plan. Although he didn't know what it was, his intuition told him that it would not be wrong to follow her. Besides, the love is still there, so stay with her. Anyway, scandals are flying everywhere, so don't act like you are really heartless. Where are the 4 of you left? Wawa asked. We. Sun Yang came over and pulled Taoran away. Let's take a step to talk. No need, Wawa interrupted. I'm going to test you. The doll flew back to Taoran again. Friend, thank you for your concern. But I am an angel. I have completed the purification, so it doesn't matter whether my body recovers. I can be reborn. Mayor or something, it doesn't matter to me, it's no longer important. But thank you anyway. A pleasant tinkling sound sounded in her ears, and the little assistant excitedly told Taoran that the good feelings she had been waiting for were fulfilled. Taoran was also happy. She hugged the doll and said, "Good girl, I also wish you good luck. After rebirth, there will be no more pain. Then I wish you can regain your life as soon as possible without any fetters. I believe there will be such a day." Wawa pulled Zhou Chang again, pushed him and Taoran aside, and then pointed at the other 4 people with his hands on his hips and floating in the space. You people. Hey, you are not living up to expectations. Look at this young couple, a friend in need is a friend indeed. You are not affectionate enough, you deserve to suffer. The 4 of them were confused. Then the doll drew a feather shape on the palms of Taoran and Zhou Chang's hands. You have withstood my test and sincerely cared for and blessed me. This is my gift to you, angel wings. Then I will be reborn. With this, you can fly higher after you go out. Zhou Chang was stunned. It seems like he got some big deal for free. He just subconsciously wanted to follow the captain, but he didn't expect to get a big advantage. He still couldn't help but ask, how high can angel wings fly? The doll looked disgusted. Look at your greedy face. You'll know if you try it, don't you? How many floors? Zhou Chang asked Taoran again. Last time in the fairy tale world, the Queen's wizard gave me the 5th floor. It should be about the same this time, right? This is one of the rewards for reaching full favorability. This kid, after all, he got caught. Remember to owe me a favor. Don't worry. If you go through fire and water, you will definitely return the favor. But the doll flew to Chaoran's ear. This man is not good. You should think about it again. Man. Well, he didn't dare to be angry or speak. The other 4 people were dumbfounded. 5th floor? Go straight to the 5th floor? Did you hear that right? The remaining 4 people did not expect that this was just a matter of words. Really? How on earth did their captain coax this difficult NPC? In the joy of 2 people and the chagrin of 4 people, 6 people walked out of the tomb. Chaoran took the opportunity to check and receive a gift package with full favorability points for his doll. Just like last time with the queen, this is a hidden mission, so the rewards are huge. In addition to materials, the gift pack also contains point rewards and bonus rewards. The same is the 20% bonus. She can allocate herself, intelligence, speed, agility, strength, reaction, luck, choose one of 6. This time, Chaoran still added a bonus to his strength. In fact, after practicing martial arts and several enhancements, her strength is already very good. She thinks that her strength should be no worse than Wusong, who can kill a dazed white-fronted tiger with 3 punches and 2 kicks. Walking out of the corridor, level 93 is ahead. The mayor was waiting there. The mayor praised their bravery and praised them as heroes who saved the people, and expressed his gratitude to them on behalf of the citizens. It's just. But the mayor changed his words again. It's just, our city has only prepared a total of 6 medals, 6 prizes and the title of heroic team. However, there are now 12 warriors. After the citizens voted, they unanimously agreed that the decision should be made in an arena. The final team of heroes. What? 12 warriors? Just as the 6 people here were about to ask further questions, the system tone also rang. The task at level 93 is to park the team in the arena. After the team exits the 92 level series of tasks, if another player team exits this level within 2 hours, the 2 teams will automatically become opponents. If the team cannot match the team after waiting for 2 hours, they will directly compete with the system NPC. The winning team after this PK will receive generous rewards and will be in a very advantageous position in the upcoming final sprint level. The team that fails the PK will randomly drop a time gap to accept the task. What a gap in time! Chaoran never forgot how much time he wasted in that maze last time. It was there that their team was overtaken by many players and lost its advantage. They played this series of levels well, especially the last level. Their purification only took half a day, saving 2.5 days. This is a hard-earned time, but we must not lose it here. So Chaoran and their opponents this time are not NPCs, but a team of players. This means Xiao Wang, very good. Didn't the captain say there should be only one team in front of us? Then we should have caught up. Sun Yang, that's right. At least we don't have to wait for 2 hours. This can be considered lucky. Soon, they saw 6 people from each other. Different from the smiling faces of Chaoran and others, the expressions of these 6 people were obviously bad. When I asked, I knew the reason. These 6 people have been waiting here for more than 100 minutes. They were all happy at first, thinking that the players behind them were still far away from them. They are all ready to challenge the NPC assigned by the system. Compared with many players who have received bonuses, they would rather deal with a bunch of data. Unexpectedly, the 6 Chaorans showed up in the last few minutes, constantly disrupting their plans and directly destroying their original dream of superiority. Naturally they were unhappy. But in fact, when Chaoran and the other 6 saw them, all the joy they had felt just now was gone. The 6 people on the other side are all men, and their relative strength is definitely stronger than ours. In addition, The other 6 people on the other side are basically tall, strong, and able to fight. At a glance, their average strength is stronger than their own. This arena battle may not be easy to fight. Thank you all for your monthly votes. Thank you to Brother Long and Mao Meow for the rewards. Thank you for your support. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 973. Naturally, Taoran and the others did not want to lose the advantage they had finally gained. Taoran, we have to win. Already level 93. It's not long before the game ends. Not only did she have to survive to the end, she also had to strive for a good ranking and get the best reward. After harvesting the tears of the prince and Cinderella in the fairy tale world, she also got a golden key in her hand. She said that the golden treasure chest can only be opened if the top 5 pass the survival game, otherwise the key level will be reduced. So for this extra bonus, she has to win too. The other 4 members of the team also fell silent after hearing Zhou Chang explain how difficult and time-consuming the time gap was. Looking at the opponent with obvious advantages, this arena battle is really not optimistic. Lele and Azhong are good at using their brains. Although Sunyang has a powerful crossbow, it is a long-range weapon and has no advantage in the ring. So there are only 3 people in your team who can fight. Taoran also realized this and could only start with the rules of the arena to see if there was a way to win. Arena rules. 1 Players only care about winning or losing, not life. Once a player is found to have made a deadly move, the arena will automatically open a ban, and the player who made the move will be declared a loser. 2nd, to show fairness, after entering the arena, all weapons and functional equipment are disabled. All players can only duel with bare hands. Zhong, it's good to have bonuses. A few of us upgraded our little assistants while waiting outside the coffin today. We got some bonuses, so we should be able to struggle. Taoran opened his mouth but didn't respond. The other party ran faster than them and took longer to rest. Did the other party also get the bonus they could get? The bonus may not mean much. Read on. Competition rules. Both teams will compete in 3 rounds of 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3, and all members must play once. Each game lasts for 15 seconds, and the winner or loser is determined by surrendering or being knocked to the ground for 15 seconds. If there is no winner within a quarter of an hour, the result of the round will be counted as a tie. If there is no winner after 3 games, there will be an additional 6v6 battle with all players until the final winner is determined. Taoran, no matter what, the first 3 rounds cannot be tied. Otherwise, once a full-scale confrontation begins, the overall strength of the 6 of them will be obviously weaker and it will be difficult to win. At that time, the opponent will inevitably form a 6-on-4 or even 6-on-3 situation. Taoran was very sober. Those who can run at the front of the game are not bad in ability and have bonuses. Even if they are strong, if they face 2 opponents like Xiao Wang or Zhou Chang, they will definitely lose. So we have to win the entire arena in the first 3 rounds. On the display screen in front of the 6 people, Taoran directly moved the icon representing himself to the 1v1 space, and placed Xiao Wang and Zhou Chang in the 2v2 position. So it's logical that the other 3 are in a group. The 3 of them cried. Lele, our group is going to be tortured to death. Taoran, if we win the first 2 groups, you don't have to go up. When the time comes, just wave the flag and cheer for us. Zhou Chang and Xiao Wang looked at each other. The key is, are you sure we can win? It's not a big problem for the captain to go to a 1v1 duel, but they are not sure. I must win the first game. You must win too. If you are not sure, create chances, Taoran said firmly. In short, our strength is obviously weaker than the opponent. The only way is to win the first 2 games directly, go one way. We listened to the captain. Seeing no one objected, Taoran directly submitted her choice. As for the opponent's average strength, they don't have as many worries as Chaoran and his team. While Chaoran and the others were still discussing, the other party had already submitted their participation form. The opposing team also wanted to get off to a good start, so their first player to play was also their captain. Xiao Wang had cooperated with this man before and said that he called himself Brother Xian. This man was once a Sanda champion. After receiving game bonuses, his abilities improved by leaps and bounds. As a person, average Xiao Wang held it in for 2 seconds and gave these 2 words of evaluation. I haven't met him for a few decades, so it's hard to judge his abilities. His best skill is his leg skills. You have to be careful about his kicks and give full play to your agility. There was a sudden commotion in the opposing camp. It turned out that I burst into laughter after seeing the match list. A group of men wiped away their previous impatience. You want Tianji to race? So you sent a pretty woman to beat our captain in the first game? Do you think this will consume the strongest person in our team? Let me tell you, it's useless. There is no weak person among the rest of us. If I were you and surrendered, we might still be merciful. Sun Yang, didn't you tell your captain about our strength? One of them, a muscular man with a sinewy face, bared his yellow teeth. How can you fight me? Just come here and show your respect, and then surrender. Sun Yang grinned at her molar teeth and whispered, I was paired with this person in the previous team task. But he and a few others disliked me because I was a female and was a hindrance. After using me to solve the problem, they betrayed me. It also caused me to lose 2 levels as a result of punishment. No wonder, when Chaoran met Sun Yang for the first time at the 5 Victory Challenge, she seemed to have strong opinions on the men group, so as soon as he appeared, she stood on the same side as him. These people are very arrogant. Whether it's for revenge or for a breath, we have to win. Chaoran glanced at Xiao Wang. He and Brother Xian across from him did not exchange any pleasantries, nor did they show any sympathy for each other. I am afraid that the previous cooperation was not very pleasant. The arena is ready. There is almost 200 square meters of space, enough for both sides to play. Both sides were about to take the field, but a ding sounded in the ears of all the players. It's a system message. It's still the big bold and scrolling red characters. Someone triggered the world news. But it wasn't like Chaoran's previous news, which was news of some achievement, but someone had used a chance card. This is the first time that chance cards have been used in the game so far. What makes people even more irritated is that the protagonist of this news is still Chaoran. The original message is as follows: an anonymous player used a chance card on player number 444 and robbed player number 444 of the speed bonus. Player no 444's speed bonus was cleared. All players please work hard to upgrade and keep up the good work. I wish you a happy game. Zhou Chang and the other 5 people gathered around nervously. Does this mean that the house leaked and it rained all night? The winning rate was already low, but now if the captain's strongest skill is taken away, and if he can't win the first game, then there is basically no need to fight later. Really? Captain, please check quickly. Chaoran's reaction was not as big as that of others. It's true. My assistant has informed me. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 974. Ever since he found the chance card fragment, Chaoran knew that something like this would happen sooner or later. Even for the fact that she would most likely be the first to be shot, she had made some mental preparations. Who told her that the reputation of number 444 is so famous in the gaming world that everyone knows it? Number 444 has become famous in the world several times. All players know that the owner of this number is powerful, Mu Xiu Yulin, who doesn't want to stop her. Nowadays, once a chance card is synthesized, when you don't know who to plunder, the first thing that comes to mind is no 444. In order to prevent being caught off guard, Chaoran had been practicing martial arts and light kung fu whenever she had the chance in the past dozens of levels. She was afraid that if the bonus was lost, she would be reduced to a prey. Fortunately, as her martial arts skills get better and better, the Black Cat bonus is no longer so important to her. Therefore, it is not difficult for her to accept the fact that her speed bonus has been taken away. Rather than feeling sad, Chaoran was mainly unhappy. You must know that her little assistant is now the highest level in the entire game world, and it stands to reason that she has the most number of spin wheels. But where is her chance? She only got 6 chance card fragments. Where could she go to reason? But her attention quickly jumped elsewhere. The opportunities that opportunity cards can snatch away from players are not only ability bonuses, but also points and system packages. The person who has the ability to synthesize chance cards is definitely not too low in level, and his ability is not too bad. Wouldn't it be more practical for him to grab the package? He has already walked most of the way, and now he is eager to get a bonus. And it's a speed bonus. Why is it so accurate? How does that person know that the thing that adds the most to her is her speed? If you have never seen her, you will definitely think that she is lucky and it would be better to steal her luck bonus. Secondly, it is everyone's subconscious reaction to reduce one's strength to 10, and the strength bonus is more natural than the speed. So it's not right? This was enough for Chaoran to predict that the person who used the chance card on her was someone she had met, played against, or cooperated with. In fact, Chaoran's Black Cat bonus added the most to sensitivity, which increased by 200%. Speed is second, increased by 100%. But her lightning quick skills can give people the illusion that they don't know its agility, but only think it's the effect of the speed bonus. When a player asks if her initial bonus is speed, she will nod in the affirmative. This also confirmed to Chaoran that the player who harmed her must have been in contact with him. Who could it be? It will definitely not be her current teammates. Everyone is still waiting for the group competition, hoping that she will win. It's even more impossible for former teammates. People who have experienced life and death together can't do that. As for the others, it seems that there are not many people who have seen her skills and know her number. Could it be that Chaoran thought of someone, number 266? He knew he was number 444 from the very beginning, the day he snatched his bag. It must be him. The assistant number 266 has the same level as me. He is very lucky. He has synthesized pass cards before, and then maybe he also filled up the chance cards? He suffered retaliation from himself, so he is the one to counter-attack this time. And this point just makes sense why he doesn't want anything else, as long as it's added. Because it's not that he needs speed, but that guy knows that if she loses the speed bonus, it is equivalent to the bird breaking its wings. There is no ability to go up. He wants to make himself fall down like him. Chaoran clenched his fists in anger. Anyway, except for number 266, she really can't think of anyone else who knows her number plate, who is in urgent need of a speed boost, whose assistant is of a high level, who has interacted with her before, and who wants to harm her, who meets all the above conditions. We'll see. The other members of the team were a little panicked, and they were all asking Chaoran if the ring battle was still okay. Can her martial arts make up for the lost speed? Do you want to submit an application to change the order of appearance? Don't panic, stay the same to cope with all changes. The ship will be straight when it reaches the bridge. Dauron's team here is filled with worries, and the opposing team has also caught on to what's wrong here. No 444's bonus was taken away. Why are they so nervous and anxious? What are they doing surrounded by female players who are about to engage in 1v1? What does it have to do with them? Could it be that woman is no 444? Brother Xian and others realized this at once. They have always been curious about who number 444 is, and there is no such person in their team. It stands to reason that number 444 should be nearby. Could it be that this is the one in front of me? Then I thought about a chat message in which a guy mentioned that number 444 was a woman. They always thought it was nonsense. Could it be true? Boss, I'm afraid so. Didn't you see that the other 5 people listened to that woman's words? That guy Xiao Wang, who puts on a dead face all day long, is not a person who can be manipulated easily. If it's true, Brother Xian, you win. Was the bonus taken away before the PK match? Is this too funny? Does this mean God is helping them? Or is the other party really being too negative? Several people were smiling and talking a lot. Tao Ran's mental energy was there, and these words entered her ears. Who said the unfortunate news coming at this time was because she was unlucky? Not necessarily. Thinking of this, she simply went with the flow and drooped her face, looking bored and angry. Brother Xian couldn't hold it back and asked Tao Ran directly, "Are you number 444? Tao Ran didn't answer him, but gave him an angry look. Brother Xian was even happier. If he didn't deny it, he would acquiesce. Ha, so funny. Are you the captain of their team? That's why she was the first to go? If you want to fight, just fight. Why are you asking so many questions?" Tao Ran had tears in his eyes. The 6 people on the opposite side burst into laughter. Isn't it funny? This is simply a debilitating possession. The other side will definitely lose. No matter how hard you fight, you will lose. Now everyone is downcast and their morale is gone. Isn't it a complete defeat? Brother Xian, seeing how distressed she and their team are, I'm afraid no 444's trump card is speed. Without speed, she still plays tricks. Brother Xian, you won't be happy if you win. Tao Ran entered the ring full of frustration. She was listless, too perfunctory, and seemed to have given in, which made Brother Xian a little bored. Even if we win, we won't win with force. So boring. As soon as the ring opened, a whistle blew, and PK began. The 2 of them first tried a test move. The moves Brother Xian gave were not ruthless and not fast, but the opponent was already struggling. The turning speed was not enough, and the whole person was panicked and clumsy. When the opponent counterattacked, the punch was not strong enough, and Brother Xian was even more disappointed. He directly launched a flying kick, but the opponent actually ran away. Brother Xian found it funny, so he swept away with a series of flying kicks. The opponent kept hiding and avoiding, while Brother Xian kept attacking. The situation was completely one-sided. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 975. Tao Ran was naturally waiting for an opportunity. Wait for the opponent to completely relax their vigilance, thinking that she is really useless after being deprived of the bonus. Wait for the opponent to completely let go and prepare for a quick victory. Wait for the opponent to spend all their energy on offense and ignore defense. No way. Xiao Wang said that this person's strength may not be inferior to hers. Can someone who can become the captain of the strongest team today be ordinary? Tao Ran didn't dare to take it lightly. It's not easy for her either. On the one hand, I have to suffer appropriately without getting hurt, and at the same time, I have to perform. It shows the helplessness, the struggle, the stubborn resistance that may fall at any time despite struggling. In the end, in the 3rd minute, Xianji's series of fancy leg attacks were used to show off his power, and the weakness of his upper body was exposed. Tao Ran seized the opportunity and accelerated suddenly. Her speed was so fast that few people watching the battle could not see clearly, and it even surprised everyone. Somehow, she escaped from Brother Xian's attack like a loach, slid sideways to Brother Xian's ribs and struck him with a palm knife. And with this blow, her whole body took advantage of the momentum to fly up. With a flip, her legs had kicked hard on Brother Xian's back. Brother Xian was very agile and took advantage of his strength to turn around and fight back. But looking at Tao Ran, he had already avoided the attack range of his legs. At this speed, both those who saw clearly and those who didn't saw clearly fell silent. Brother Xian felt a dull pain under his ribs and felt numb for a while. He and his teammates were confused. "You're so fast, aren't you? No 444. Tao Ran hee, when did I say I was number 444? Brother Xian's chest felt tight and he was very angry. "You're kidding me. He was cheated and beaten by a woman, didn't he want to lose face? The key point is that if this woman is really number 444, he will be able to accept it, but this woman is unknown, how can he tolerate it? After all, before this level, he was the fastest and number 1 player in the survival game. Who do you blame for your stupidity?" Tao Ran just wanted to make him angry. "You're asking a question, but there's no requirement that I have to reply, right?" Brother Xian moved his molars, used both feet, and attacked again. This time, Tao Ran would not give him another chance to show off his kicking skills. Her Qinggong was fully activated, and she jumped up and down, doing various tricks. Brother Xian was not only unable to move his legs and feet, but in the process of self-defense and counter-attack, he also discovered that the pain under his armpit and ribs that had just been hit by the woman was getting more and more painful. Whenever he stretches his arm, he feels a tearing pain. This kind of pain prevented him from attacking with all his strength and distracted him from his concentration. It was also because of his distraction that the woman suddenly appeared behind him with her ghostly body skills. He had a premonition that something was wrong and immediately pulled away. How else to say that Brother Xian is awesome? Tao Ran's hand knife, which was supposed to be a sure hit, missed the target and was forcibly held up by his other hand. The overbearing power made Tao Ran's palms numb. Tao Ran was not in a hurry and continued her attack, mobilizing Brother Xian to endure the pain to resist. The blow she had been waiting for the opportunity to give Brother Xian's armpit was not only full force, but also brought internal strength. If it were an ordinary person, he would definitely fall to the ground after one blow. But obviously Brother Xian's body has been strengthened. I actually tolerated it at that time. But no problem. If he doesn't recover quickly after suffering internal injuries, but instead uses force and energy, his injuries will soon worsen. Sure enough, after only a minute, Brother Xian tasted something powerful. There was throbbing pain all over his ribs and it was spreading. He had no choice but to launch another strong attack while he could still endure it. He kicked out a series of leg nooses, and he tried his best. But the opponent was only swept away by him, and he only took a few steps back slightly. She took advantage of the force of the kick to use it up. Really good skill. Brother Xian was helpless. He had used all his trump cards, but he couldn't do anything to the other party. The bad thing is that you get her first. Although reluctant, it has become a fact. He knew in his heart that it was basically impossible for him to win. Looking at the time, only 5 minutes have passed. I'm afraid the only way I can do now is to delay as much time as possible and strive for a draw. So, when the scene of Tao Ran being embarrassed was being chased and beaten by Brother Xian was changed, the two of them immediately fell apart. Now, it was Tao Ran who was chasing Brother Xian, shouting and beating him. Brother Xian couldn't help but ask, "You are so awesome, can I know your number? Why should I tell you and let you use the chance card to rob me? I'm just curious. I promise I won't use chance cards on you. I keep my word. I won't consider telling you until our team wins." Brother Xian couldn't outrun Tao Ran, so he only had to defend. This guy is indeed very capable. He can basically neutralize most of Taoran's attacks by covering one of his ribs. Although Taoran's several punches failed to hit the vital point, she was not in a hurry. The harder Brother Xian defends himself, the more suffering he will suffer soon. At this time, Brother Xian's forehead was already covered with a dense layer of sweat. His pain had spread to half of his body. Our game is considered a draw. I will give you a set of supplies when you get off. Brother Xian decided to make a deal to save face. Or the conditions are up to you. I can't hear what you said. If you have the skills, speak louder so that everyone, including NPCs, can hear it. There is still a long way to go. What is convenient for others is what is convenient for oneself. Taoran, why don't you just surrender and I'll spare you the pain? Taoran started to get angry, and all his moves were directed at the side of Brother Xian's body that had suffered internal injuries. Even if he can block it, it will inevitably cause injuries. Brother Xian's speed and condition are obviously declining. He can't hit, run, or defend. In addition to his ribs, both his arms, which he had been using to pick and roll, were also kicked. Seeing Taoran attack with another set of palm techniques, Brother Xian could only curse in his mind, why does this woman have so many moves? As soon as his teammates in the audience shouted, come on, Brother Xian's feet slipped. Before he could curse, Taoran's sword flew down from the air and arrived. Surrender. I surrender. Brother Xian is very anxious. Only 8 minutes had passed and he couldn't hold on any longer. He couldn't win or tie at all. Spending it like this has no other meaning than causing yourself pain. This woman's tricks are evil. The strength doesn't look very strong, but it's strong and full of stamina. It must be due to some kind of bonus. So forget it. The blow from the woman just now was enough for him. If he was hit again, he might have to lie down. He still has to continue to pass the level, and maybe there will be a team battle waiting for him later. He can't be seriously injured. But Taoran had already dropped the knife, and he couldn't hold it back. Seeing that the sword had arrived, Brother Xian felt that everything was over and couldn't help but scream. The hand knife fell directly on his wrist that was blocking the front. Click. Broken. Well, Taoran was a little embarrassed. What are you blocking? Since you have surrendered, I will not harm you. Although I can't hold it back, I have adjusted my position. Originally, I would only hit empty targets. Now it's better. Taoran didn't want to provoke anyone. Originally, he wanted to fight with come in peace. But her words sounded like sarcasm to Brother Xian's ears. This time, it seemed as if she was deliberately breaking his wrist to intimidate him. Taoran and her team immediately received a fiery glance from the other party. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 976. Brother Xian was injured and left the scene in embarrassment. Taoran's team won the first competition. The situation was great and their morale was greatly improved. She was quite nervous originally. After all, we are facing the strongest group. The 6 Xian brothers passed through the plot series levels just now, and not only did they all come out completely, but there were no eliminations in the system's provoking internal strife level, which shows that their team's cohesion is also very strong. Think about it too. After all, they are the 6 fastest runners now. Before knowing whether there will be team battles in the future, stability is the best choice. It can be seen that the relationship between the 6 people is relatively stable. Such a team made Taoran determined to win in the first 2 games. She made the mistake of making a mistake, fully borrowed the information of the chance card, turned the disadvantage into an advantage, and relied on her acting skills to find the opponent's weakness and win first. She has to thank number 266. Ah! But with such a plundering tone, how could one not retaliate? The 6 people returned to their tents, and they had 20 minutes to rest before starting the second round of the ring. Xiao Wang and Zhou Chang immediately started practicing tactics. Xiao Wang was quite worried. One of the people in 2v2 had fought against him, and that person was stronger than him. But Zhou Chang is a little weaker than him, so from this point of view, it will not be easy to win this round. Therefore, even though they are now leading 1:0, their situation is still not optimistic. Tao Ran looked at them and had some ideas in his mind. She took out a bottle of wound medicine from her bag and called Xiao Wang. "Aren't you and Brother Xian old acquaintances before? I accidentally hurt Brother Xian. You go over to see him and bring this medicine to him." "Xiao Wang, do you not want to make enemies, or are you afraid that they will be cruel to us in the upcoming 2v2? Well, Tao Ran wanted to say, actually, it's none of them. If he asks you that, tell him the two things you just thought. Ask him to be merciful in the future. So your true intention is." Tao Ran pulled Xiao Wang and whispered in his ear. She talked a lot. Then a smile appeared on Xiao Wang's face that had not smiled all year round. "Tao Ran, isn't it a loss to let you do this?" Xiao Wang nodded, "Very good." Xiao Wang immediately went to the next tent with the wound medicine. The remaining 4 people were extremely curious. "Zhou Chang, what riddle are you playing?" "Tao Ran, let Xiao Wang find out how much hostility the other party has towards me now, whether he hates me to death or just hates me in general." "Impossible," Zhou Chang snorted. "You are a person who doesn't let go of rabbits before you see them. How can such a rotten excuse be worth your giving up a bottle of medicine? Zhong, isn't that right? Although I, Brother Wang, respect you, I am not someone who just does errands. It is definitely not an easy thing for me, Brother Wang, to say very good. Tao Ran blinked, and her lovely teammates followed her. As expected, they all liked to use their brains. Very good and gratifying. I just don't know if Xiao Wang's acting skills have improved since she followed her. Tao Ran, no, Xiao Wang and Zhou Chang will appear soon. It's reasonable for Xiao Wang to show his kindness now. If he keeps a low profile, it will be more conducive for the other party to show mercy or relax his vigilance, right? Forget it if you don't want to say it, Zhou Chang muttered, there's no need to show goodwill. This can only be a 2-for-1 fight. It's either us or them. It's inevitable that one of them will be unhappy. It's unnecessary to let them relax their vigilance. They were deceived by you just now, how can they be deceived again? Let's talk about it when Xiao Wang comes back. Tao Ran smiled, lowered his head and asked Sun Yang to help him deal with a few wounds from the fight just now. 10 minutes later, Xiao Wang came back dirty and embarrassed. Tao Ran cast a questioning look. Xiao Wang's frosty face showed a rare smile after a second. It's done. Zhou Chang and others gathered around, and Xiao Wang finally explained everything. When he went to deliver the medicine, the other party naturally had a bad look on his face, and even felt that he was not well intentioned in wishing us a happy new year. But the character Daoran created for him was very consistent with his personality. Xiao Wang bluntly told Brother Xian, our captain asked me to come. He put down the medicine directly. Given by our captain. Oh. I won't let you deliver the medicine, right? Not entirely, Xiao Wang told the truth. I don't know how to lie. Now that you can see it, I'll tell you straight away. I'm here to check the morale of your team. To see if you are confident of winning the second round. Xiao Wang's original character does not seem to be a thoughtful person. His directness and proactive confession of his purpose dispelled most of Brother Xian's suspicions about him. You should know our strength. Yes. So I'm just here to go through the motions. Brother Xian take good care of his injuries. After that, Xiao Wang was about to leave. Hey, you're here, come and sit. Brother Xian immediately smiled. We're all old friends. Let's talk. That's 3 minutes at most, otherwise our captain would have to think too much. The more Xiao Wang took the initiative to leave and the more he was so frank, the more Xianji subconsciously decided that he was really just going through the motions. Tell me about your captain. She's very strong. Brother Xian, you underestimated her. She is the strongest in our team. Xiao Wang told the truth. She is stronger than me. Xiao Wang looked at the timer in the tent again. Knowing that he was in a hurry to leave, Brother Xian also took the time to stop talking nonsense, get straight to the point. I want to make a deal with you. What? Xiao Wang raised his eyes and frowned, but he was secretly happy in his heart. The captain had guessed everything. Tell me your captain's number plate. You want to use chance cards to deal with our captain? Xiao Wang asked immediately. Yes. Now, who doesn't want to be the strongest? Brother Xian synthesized the chance card long before the level of the doll series, but he didn't know who to plunder. Such a precious card must be spotted carefully before plundering it. It was precisely because he had the chance card that he kept suppressing the others in the team, preventing them from taking any rash action. Under the instigation of the system in the previous levels, everyone was also wary of this, so they had no intention of betrayal. I'm just afraid that if he gets caught, the end will be even worse. When they first played against each other, Brother Xian finally knew who he should use his card on. As long as he can plunder this powerful woman's bonus, not only will his strength increase dramatically, but he will also be able to avenge today's revenge. He even foolishly asked the woman for her number, thinking how could the woman tell him? Even if you tell him, you will only lie to him. So Brother Xian has been worrying about how to find out the woman's number plate. Just in time, Xiao Wang came to the door. He suddenly realized that he might be able to find Xiao Wang to inquire. Although this guy goes straight, it seems a bit difficult. But the level is about to be cleared. Xiao Wang is a sober-minded person, so there is a high probability that he will take the bait. At this moment, Xiao Wang faced such an inquiry and shook his head righteously. I can't say. I don't want to betray. Brother Xian smiled. If he nodded directly, he wouldn't believe it. The conditions are up to you. Brother Xian was very generous. Thank you Brother Long for the reward. Compare your feelings.